What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV and smiley faces in the studio today as Spurs have got 3 points during midweek, an away win at Crystal Palace. And you got to be loving life with 3 points.
Have to be loving life. It's the best we've ever been.
All right. Calm down, mate. Just be happy with the 3 points. Be happy with the 3 points. 3 points nonetheless.
Don't tell me how to feel.
3 points nonetheless. And look, after the string of defeats and draws that we were going through, 3 points is very much welcome, and however it comes, to be honest, at this point in time. We got an extensive update to bring to you, since yesterday was the last game of 2025, which means the last day before the transfer window is open on January the 1st. And also, we have got a new kind of addition to the player ratings. So the link is pinned to the live chat, top of the live chat. So everyone click that link and go and vote for your player ratings. There's a little scroll bar for each player and you can go from 1 to 10 and rate the players, and we'll bring up the averages when we go through player ratings a bit later on. So everyone do go and click that link and submit your player ratings, people. It'll be interesting to see. It's the first time we're trying this, so let's see how it goes. But without further ado, let's go straight in to a Tottenham update. And first up, we are going to be talking about Mr. Mickey van der Ven, as The Athletic are reporting that Tottenham want to tie Mickey van der Ven to a new improved long-term deal this season, and it's seen more important than any transfer in this January transfer window.
Right.
Do you think it's more important to tie down Mickey van der Ven than any incoming transfer?
No, not right now. Would I say Mickey van der Ven is more important to the team than any incoming transfer would be? I probably agree with that. I wouldn't want to lose Mickey for sure, but
not even for Rodrigo?
Maybe for Rodrigo. But in terms of him, how long has he got left for? 2.5 years or 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Do I think that's more imperative this window than tying down a transfer that we need to upgrade in? No, I wouldn't, because he's still got a few years on his contract. It's not like a desperate situation. But obviously we don't want it to drag on. Obviously we want it to tie it down. We want his future secure. He's a massive part of the team, and he's now one of the sort of vice captains. He's a leader in that dressing room as well. He's established himself as not just one of the leaders in the team, but one of the best centre backs in the league.
Some even say that he should be the outright captain.
Yeah, you could argue that. I mean, but I don't think that's going to happen while Romero's here. But he's an unbelievable player. So I think it's important that his wage reflects his status in the squad. I understand, since he signed, he's on less than 100 grand a week, isn't he? So yeah, that needs to change.
He's on 90.
So that needs to change. He needs to be on at least, maybe on par with Romero, or maybe a bit less, something like that.
There is another report here that says Tottenham are looking to accelerate contract talks in the new year. He earns 90 grand a week, and they can expect to roughly double his money in committing his future to the club. So that will put him on close to pay parity with like Akuti Romero.
Yeah, well, he should be 100%. So hopefully he can agree a deal. It doesn't have to be in January though, does it? You can sign a deal anytime. So yeah. I don't understand why that would affect anything when it comes to our January plans.
It doesn't.
So, but why are they comparing the two?
They're just looking at it as a very high importance. I don't think they're saying, oh well, signing Mickey van der Ven means we can't get this player or that player.
Yeah, but it makes no sense to even put that in the same sentence. It's seen as more important than making a new signing. Why does that make any sense when it doesn't have to be in January?
I think it's just journalists just putting an emphasis on it. I don't think they're actually thinking like it's going to potentially hamper any of the January transfer plans or anything. It's just maybe just a coin of phrase.
Fair enough, but I don't understand what they don't have to do in January. He can sign a new contract in the summer or any time between now and any time ever. While he's under contract, he can sign an extension. So it shouldn't really affect anything that happens in January. But yeah, obviously, I hope he signs. Do I think he signs right now? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Well, then again, does he want a couple? If he's thinking, look, I am going to stay for the next few years anyway. And I'm quite young. I've still got a long time ahead of my career. I might as well get a lot of big payments. I might as well get close to 200 grand a week, because even if I want to leave down the line, that's still an option, even if I sign a contract. So I wouldn't rule it out, but I think right now, I guess if I'm him, I'm waiting to the summer, and if we're in Europe again or whatever, maybe I sign. But if we're out of Europe, I think big question mark.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. If I'm him, there's no chance I'm signing right now at all. All right, let's move on and let's talk about Ali Gold. He's been talking about potential departures, and he says that players will be allowed to depart for the right price, with Brennan Johnson and Radu Dragushin both looking for game time and having price tags that have not fallen. If Dragushin departs this month, then Spurs are expected to bring in another centre-back through the doors.
Yeah, which obviously Takai was also on the bench. No one didn't mention him yesterday. Yeah, when it comes to Radu, I liked his cameo. We spoke about whether he needs the game time or not, which we all agree he does. Obviously, it makes sense. We need another centre-back because we need 4, but then that completely rules out Takai as an option in a way. If we're saying he's not good enough. So it makes more sense to loan him out and then keep Dragushin around, I would say. But I think going on a centre-back search right now is something that we could do without, I would say, because we've got so much to do. Going for a centre-back on top of that, do we want to add problems? But I understand Dragushin as well. He wants game time. He's coming back for a big injury. He wants to make sure he's getting the game time so he's back up to speed as quickly as possible. And that's difficult for him as well. Yeah,
look, I think I completely agree with that. I mean, we've just got so much to do, so many key priority positions that we want to bring in, central midfielder, left wing, left back. Just let Radu stay, man. But the thing is, he might want to leave, and if he wants to leave, then it's a whole different question, isn't it?
But do you trust Takai, or do you...
If he wants to leave, I think we have to bring in another centre-back. I mean, if they're already not considering him and they're saying we're going to bring in another centre-back if Dragushin leaves, that tells me that he's not good enough, he's not ready, they don't trust him. So you have to bring in another centre-back.
We have to keep Radu around then. Doesn't make sense to me to let him go if we don't trust Takai.
Yeah, that is the reality. But if Dragushin is, hell-bent on leaving and really wants to leave, and you can't...
And then we'll start with the same issue. What kind of centre-back wants to come in and be 4th choice?
Yeah.
Unless we get one on loan, but it's not going to be a good one.
Yeah.
So unless we go big for Guehi, but he ain't going to come right now. He's got bigger fish after him.
Recall Ashley Phillips?
Vuskovic apparently doesn't want to be recalled. So I would just try and convince Radu to stay.
All right, that's Radu Dragushin. Let's move on to Brennan Johnson, as Mark McAdam says that Bournemouth are interested in Tottenham's Brennan Johnson along with Crystal Palace. It's unclear whether Spurs are willing to sell Johnson or he could potentially leave on loan in the January transfer window. Tough deal to make happen, but one to keep an eye on. And Alan Nixon says a potential bidding war is brewing as Bournemouth are joining the race to sign Brennan Johnson, who Crystal Palace are also pursuing. A little bidding war going on here for Brennan Johnson. I mean, he came on last night in the away end, absolutely lapped him up, songs throughout while he was on the pitch. So I am starting to think, similar to you, that it's probably worth keeping him around, to be honest, because he's a player that knows where the back of the net is, not like many of our players.
As I say, I think
he gets more minutes than Matisse Tell
at the moment, exactly. And I thought what I like about Brennan anyway, in for example yesterday, late in the game, he can stretch it, he's got pace, he's a bit more obviously direct than Kudus, he'll run in behind and look to be a goal threat, which is good. But I also understand that he's definitely an upgradable player. We can all agree on that. He's not a player who you don't think there's better out there, for sure. So if we get good money and we're going to sign someone else, that's fine. But I'm just thinking from a squad planning point of view, selling him in January doesn't make too much sense. I think if you're going to sell him, probably sell him in the summer when you've got more options available. I think it just, unless the whole thinking is we're only going to sell him once we have a better option lined up, and then that point of view, that's fine. But the options are drying up at the moment.
Yeah.
When it comes to who we can get, and then we're talking about, we'll get into the other options, the more established options, but. The only realistic options at the moment we're seeing are like young players, 19, 20, who are, again, probably going to take some time to develop or, not going to be the finished article right now. When it comes to ready-made players, they're at a premium and they're in very short supply. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying Brennan is an elite ready-made player, but he is a player who's ready now to contribute. We know that. Yes, he's upgradable, but he's a player who is not in the development stage. He's a ready-made player. So we're getting rid of one potentially. What I'm thinking is we're getting him out for potentially another potential player. I mean, who are we going to sign who's a ready-made player right now?
I don't know. But, you've seen it many a time, haven't you, when Spurs are linked with this one, that one, and we go for someone completely different. So
in terms of Premier proven, it's tough to see. Semenyo's out of the question. Savinho's out of the question. So who is it?
I can't tell you.
Unless it's literally someone from real left field like Leao or Yildiz or something incredible, which I don't see as coming as well because of where we're at. I don't know. I think I just got this feeling we're going to be left really disappointed like usual, but we'll see. But in that sense, yeah, I think don't let go of Brennan until you have someone lined up would be my point.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But,
would you sell Brennan and bring in Lookman, as Tristan is saying?
No, I don't think I would.
I do think Lookman's a better player, to be honest.
Lookman's decent. He's a good player, but
they're different. They're very different players.
To let Johnson go, I want to sign someone who we're going to be convinced of for the next couple of years or next 3-4 years. Someone, maybe not, someone that could be like a mainstay in the team that improves our first 11. And Lookman might be good for the short term from now to the end of the season, but I think ultimately we're going to probably want to upgrade on him in a years to come, or you know what I mean. So I'll probably just keep Brennan Johnson around until we can find that upgrade. The
only thing with the Brennan is that there an opportunity right now to sell him in terms of Palace are very desperate. Bournemouth are completely out of form. Are they willing to throw a bit more money that they wouldn't have thrown in a different situation, if you know what I mean? So maybe is there a chance to get more money than we could from Brennan in other situations potentially?
Yeah, but look, how much of a difference is it really going to be in terms of how much we're going to bring in now or in the summer? If you're going to leave yourself short or lacking in even more quality, then I would take the hit on that kind of money. So look, we'll see what happens and we'll see what players come to light. Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, Sade has been mentioned in the past. I think.
Yeah, he knows him.
Sade was linked to us from what's his name, the Bayern journalist Florian Plettenberg.
Yeah,
a few months ago.
Yeah, been a big topic of conversation. Sade.
So would you take Sade over Johnson?
I think they're very similar players, to be honest. I think Sade might be a bit better, to be honest. So I'm not gonna. I don't think it's a massive upgrade or anything, but I think he is a bit of a better player. So. Yeah, why not? But
also, he's more comfortable on the left and Brennan's more comfortable on the right. So, anyway, let's talk about the wage structure, people. Everyone loves the wage structure at Tottenham, obviously. With Alistair Gold, he says that Tottenham are expected to push up the ceiling on their wage structure in order to compete after years of having to rule out targets who wanted more than they could offer. But they are also not the most attractive proposition right now for big players. And that is a big problem that Spurs face now. Because, we can talk about all the money that we have in the world and upping the wage structure and, £150 million war chest. But what good is that if we can't attract top players?
Yeah, 100%. Especially in January when you're in the middle of the season where it's already, even if we were able to attract good players, it's already difficult to get players out of their clubs right now. So I agree. I think it's all well and good wanting to up your wage structure. But it doesn't really help you in this window too much. In the situation we are, if we were up there challenging, then maybe it would help us. But right now, when you've got bigger clubs looking at the players, just because we offer a bit more money, it's not going to make the biggest difference right now. Obviously, we can still attract good players. I think we saw that in the summer. We were able to get some good players in. So it's not. But so it's not. I think. Obviously, in the summer, it was a different situation. We had Champions League football to offer, and obviously, it was a bit unknown what was going on. Frank just starting, all that kind of stuff. So it's a easier sell. Right now, everyone's seen how we're playing, what the position we are in the league, all this kind of stuff. And it's tougher to sell, we're on the right track, than maybe on the summer, where it's not necessarily, we're on the right track, but it's more like, look, we can build a good team here. We're in the Champions League. We got that to offer, and there's potentially a bright future. Right now, I'm not saying that's not necessarily true, but it's just a tougher sell.
But it's still you can still sell someone a project, and especially if you show ambition with the kind of players that you want to go for. But we're going to be in the same pool. If you're talking about being in the same pool as players going at that Arsenal are looking at, that Liverpool are looking at, that Man City are looking at, that Chelsea are looking at, like these teams that can offer pretty much the same wages as we're potentially going to be looking to offer. I mean, there's only one place that they're going to go, and it won't be Tottenham Hotspur.
Well, you would say 5 places there.
Well, yeah.
And not Tottenham. Yeah, that's why I think we have to be smart. I think, to be honest, this has always been our problem. This is not like a new thing. Our problem has always been that we are shopping in the same pool as these other big clubs, and we don't have as much pool as those big clubs.
Yeah, but the difference was we had a big wage structure then, right? There's the report here saying we're looking to smash that wage structure and being able to attract players that maybe we couldn't attract before. But those players are not going to come to us because those players are going to go to the bigger clubs.
Right, but that's always been a problem, apart from the wage structure. That's always been a big issue. So we have to... This is why I think people are when people talk about this window and how it's going to save us and whatever, or we have to act big, we have to act all this kind of stuff. You're setting yourself up for disappointment because first of all, it's January, so it's already difficult, and second of all, look where we are in the league and look how we're playing. It's not going to be easy to get what these kind of fans want in the window in terms of, we need ready-made, we need top quality, we need world-class talent. Ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. We're going to have to be smart in this window if we're going to have a good window. We're going to have to get players who are a bit undervalued in the market, who we see a lot of potential in. That's our best way forward, because any ready-made player that we get is not going to be of the required quality, in my opinion. It's going to be very difficult to get those in. Someone mentions here Njai from Everton. Yeah, maybe he's one.
You know, I've been very impressed with Njai this season. I think he's a really good player. He is one that potentially, if you sell Brennan Johnson for 35 million or whatever it may be, and bring him in for probably cost double that, you know, would you be? I'll be happy with that.
It's fine. He's fine. I think he's quite similar to Kudus, though, in a way. So you're getting a similar profile, but that's fine. Whatever. He's a better player, so I'm willing to bring him in. But yeah, sure, I'll take Njai. But I'm saying there's not a lot of options. Is my point. So we have to be very smart in this window if we're going to have a good window, instead of going big and like thinking we're going to sign like the biggest players. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, really...
I mean, I don't mind us going for it. I'm just saying, I'm talking about the fans' expectations that we're going to have this crazy window. I think you should temper them.
Do fans actually think we're going to have this crazy window?
People
this
calling
January?
in, we're going to have a big January. If Frank gets what he wants, he's going to turn it around. I think this is my point. Like, I think Frank, by and large, he's going to have to work with what he's got at the moment. I don't think he's going to get saved in January.
I think it's like next to impossible that happens.
Yeah, that's why I'm. People calling in expecting massive things to happen and massive changes to happen in January, I think it's not. I think it's unrealistic.
Yeah, I agree with that. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about something more realistic, and that is Adam Wharton.
Oh yeah, here we go.
As Dean Jones says that Tottenham are interested in stepping up their pursuit. They're only interested in stepping up their pursuit of Adam Wharton in 2026. Tottenham are very keen on Adam Wharton and are willing to pay a big fee to get him. Wharton is viewed as having an ideal profile for Spurs, and the club will look to position itself in front of any negotiation should an opportunity arise.
I'd love Wharton. He's the perfect player for us. The player we're
Literally.
missing. I mean, how much is it going to take to get him out of Palace right now in January? Maybe we're prepared to pay it, but even on that eventuality, is he prepared to come? I'm sure when he just takes on face value, yes, Tottenham upgrade from Palace and, bigger club, but he knows that bigger clubs are looking at him. Maybe not right now, but if you wait 6 months, are Liverpool, City, all these other clubs going to put money on the table for him? Why would he be in a rush to come to Palace? He's doing quite well as well. Palace are in Europe. He could win another trophy this season. Like, does he want to give that up? He's got a good thing going. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty in Palace. I'm not saying he's going to be there long term, but jumping at the chance to come to Tottenham in January, I don't really see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Spurs do end up going for Adam Wharton, I think it'll be more in the summer. There's going to be a lot of change at Palace in the summer with Glasner leaving, potentially Mateta leaving. Are they even going to let Adam Wharton leave? It's going to take a monstrous offer to get him. I think north of 100 million. That's how much it's going to take to get Adam Wharton in. So are Spurs actually going to push the boat out and buy 100 million Adam Wharton?
Well, the only thing I could say is, let's say we do have a good end of season, we get in Europe and Palace fall off, and let's say Liverpool and City, and there are other players, Anderson, Baleba, there's big links. If they go for those players instead of Wharton, Wharton's kind of left out of that conversation, maybe we can swoop it at that point. But that's obviously a lot of things have to go in our favour in the summer. I do think if we put the money on the table and it's accepted in the summer and the other players have found other clubs, maybe he would consider it. But right now, if we're thinking about getting him in January, I just think there's no chance.
We should put in, someone says in the comments, we should put in 50 million plus Brennan Johnson for Adam Wharton.
Test the waters. I mean, that gets rejected, but we can test it.
How much do you reckon that they actually think they're going to get for Adam Wharton? Is anyone going to bid 100 million for him?
That's how much Rice went for.
I know.
So what they would think, why not?
Do you think Rice is at the same level? Adam Wharton's at the same level as when Rice left West Ham?
West Ham, probably a bit less, but still, he's as important, and he won the FA Cup with them. He's a trophy winner. He's now, how long has he been at Palace? 2 years?
Yeah, 2-3 years.
Come the summer, 2.5 years of consistent football. The only thing you would say about Wharton is his injury record is not particularly great. So that's obviously a big caveat. But if I'm Palace and you're looking at Brighton demanding 100 million for Baleba in the summer, Rice went for 100 million. Apparently Anderson, they're valuing him at 100 million. Why would he be any different?
And I think he's got, what's his contract saying, Adam Wharton? It's got to be
I'm assuming he's got
a fairly long contract. Because that obviously comes into play as well. With Declan Rice, obviously, he was doing it for many years at West Ham. He was the club captain. And he was just Mr. West Ham, wasn't he?
In terms of him being at the level that he was, it was probably 2 years.
Yeah, true.
And I'm not saying he was bad before that, but he wasn't at that level that we saw.
But Wharton hasn't done it anywhere near as consistently as Declan Rice did because of those injuries. Yeah,
but when he's been on the pitch, he barely has a bad game.
Yeah.
If you can keep him fit.
100%. I agree.
And I don't know how old Rice was when he joined Arsenal, but I'm guessing he was a bit older than Wharton is now.
Yeah. So, I mean, Rice was that kind of...
He was, 25? 26 when he joined Arsenal?
Yeah, exactly.
Wharton's still 5 years below. So, if I'm Palace, for sure, I'm demanding 100 million.
Yeah. I think Adam Wharton is that player that, you're hoping to grow into Rice's level. Rice was already at that level, kind of going into the prime years of his career, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think Wharton's well ahead of Rice when he was younger, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. But as we all know, it doesn't always work out like that, If he keeps struggling with injuries, then...
That's fine, but right now, we're talking about right now, how much is he worth? I'm saying they're going to demand 100 million.
I don't think they get it.
Then they'll happily keep him then, I'm sure.
But if he starts pushing for a move, then they might have to take something a bit less.
Yeah, it depends how desperate he is to leave. I don't know. He's 21. I think he's happy there, but maybe there might be a chance he pushes, and then we'll see. But
I reckon he could end up going for something like 70.
If he stays injury free, I don't see them accepting 70.
We'll see. But either way, I doubt he's coming to Spurs.
No.
All right, let's move on. Leon Goretzka, Yagis Sabaglonku says that Bayern Munich, Leon Goretzka's agent, is in talks with Tottenham over a transfer. However, Stafford Bloor from The Athletic says that Tottenham currently have no interest in Leon Goretzka. And yeah, I'm quite happy about that, to be honest.
I like Goretzka.
I like him as well, but 30 years of age.
He's definitely better than what we have. He's an upgrade.
Yeah.
But he's not exactly the answer to our problems, I would say. Obviously, he gets in the head of... Look, he probably comes in and becomes our best midfielder, if we're being honest. I think that's probably true.
I think he's someone that's kind of like past his best now. And I prefer to go for someone a bit younger, to be honest. Like, just to sign someone at 30 that's past his best, probably regressing a little bit now. I don't know, man.
Not necessarily.
It doesn't give me excitement.
No, it doesn't excite me either. I think it will be a short-term thing, but this is what everyone's saying. Oh, we need short-term, ready-made players. That would represent that.
I don't think anyone's saying we need short-term ready-made players.
Yeah,
we
for
need
the here and now, right?
We need players for the here and now and the future.
Yeah.
It's not.
We have the future.
It's not. I'm not. Nobody's saying sign players 30 years plus and get them in the team now to push us on. People are saying buy players in their prime.
But we have
that can play now and for the future.
We have players who are our future sorted. We have players for the future. It's about the here and now. I think Goretzka would represent that. I think he comes in and probably becomes our best midfielder. But in terms of a profile, I don't think he necessarily is what we need. I don't think he's what we need. I wouldn't do it because he's probably going to be on big wages. But I wouldn't say no to maybe a 6-month loan deal.
Yeah, look, if it's a loan deal, fine. But if we're going to sign him on a 3-year deal, then I just, no, not for me. And last but not least, Savinho, Sky Sports Lyle says that Tottenham were interested in Savinho, but it's understood that City want to keep the Brazilian. No surprise there. We reported that a couple of days ago. It looks as though if any winger is going to leave Man City, it is going to be Oscar Bob, and Savinho and Mamouche are going to be sticking around for the second half of the season.
Yeah, which is a shame because I was hoping maybe there was a chance we could get him because he wasn't playing that much at City this season. But obviously in recent weeks he's come back into the fold quite a bit. So fair play to Guardiola. He was talking him up yesterday in some of his call on the weekend, saying I love Savinho and just talking him up a lot. So it makes sense. They're going for a title as well. There's no need to rock the boat. They're adding Semenyo. Why also get rid of a player who plays on the other side? I would like to test the waters, but it looks as though they've made their minds up. And it makes sense. He's a top talent. There's no need to let him go, really. Unless he's kicking up a fuss, which I think was the problem in the summer because he wanted that World Cup spot. And unless that's still the case, yeah. I think he's the kind of player I'm talking about, that kind of player who can play really good now, but is high potential. Because I just think players in their prime in this position, it's just going to be too hard. Yeah, Ndai's one, but it's going to be difficult to get them in.
Yeah, I guess need to have a look at. It doesn't have to be Premier League. It can also be a player doing well at the right age, in a foreign league. Not all foreign players have to be 19 coming in. There must be some players in the foreign leagues that are 23 plus that are doing very well that Spurs could potentially target.
Yeah, but everyone talks about Premier League proven.
I think proven doesn't have to be Premier League proven.
Sure, I don't mind that as long as the scouting's good.
Yeah,
I agree. There's a lot of talent in for other leagues. But again, I don't know. For example, I don't know who we're talking about, but if we're talking about a player who's playing for a big club doing well, that's going to be hard. If it's talking about a player who's not playing for a big club, then obviously the question mark will come with that. But
yeah, as Football Meme says, Akilush, someone like that. You know what I mean?
I'd like Akilush.
All right, well, look, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have spoken about today. Just want to let you know, apologies, guys, but the link for the player ratings isn't working. So we're going to have to bring it back for you for the next game against Brentford, and we'll try it then. But I did open the voting to X, and I put it in a community post on YouTube this morning, so we do have some votes in, so we'll still add it in, but you can put your votes in for the next game against Brentford.
Snooze, you lose.
Exactly, you snooze, you lose, people. But yeah, make sure to get in early next week when we play Brentford. But yeah, let's get into the game yesterday. Palace 0, Tottenham 1. Not the greatest game. Not a game for the neutral. I thought I was really unhappy with the way we played. At half-time, I was just saying, how the hell are we 1-0 up? We have been shocking so far. We got the predicted lineup spot on with Kolo Muani on the left and Richarlison up top. And first half, literally, I had no idea how we were 1-0 up. I thought Palace had the onus in the game. They were creating chances, albeit they didn't really kind of test Vicario too much. But they were the ones pressurising us, and we were finding it hard to get up the pitch and create any sort of decent chances. I think before Archie Gray scored that goal, our XG was 0.03 or something crazy like that, where, it was just what we've seen over the last for the majority of the season, and it was very, very frustrating. And I thought their midfield was completely bossing ours. I think Bentancur kind of looked lost in that first half, and Archie Gray was doing a few nice bits, but still not really doing it all right. I mean, there was just nothing in that first half performance, was there?
Apart from the goal, which obviously comes from
and the disallowed goal.
And then, to be fair, the disallowed goal was actually really well worked. I know it's offside, but that was also a classic Frank ball kind of goal. Just a couple of nice interchanges, whipped the ball in, and obviously it was a nice finish from Richie. Unfortunately, he was offside, but classic. Richie just should never celebrate a goal. Just don't celebrate Richie, because
he didn't take off his shirt this time.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it was a tough watch in that first half. Really tough. It was, I think, one of Palace's, I think in general, their highest ever possession, I think, this season. I do wonder.
I think it was a tactic.
Yeah, I think it was a tactic from Frank as well. I think it was a clever tactic, to be fair, because that's where Palace struggle, when you give them the ball and give them the onus. Albeit, I would say they weren't struggling to get near us or create. They were just, their finishing was completely off on the day.
Yeah, I thought in the first half they didn't really create too many high quality chances. I think they did a bit in the beginning of the second half.
Mateta had one, and they had, most of it was just pot shots from edge of the box.
Yeah.
I would say they still had the better chances, but obviously we did score. Yeah, probably scored against run of play, you would probably say, with the goal. And to be fair to the players, they did very well with the goal, in terms of Moani did really well to keep it on. Richarlison did really well to beat, I think that was Lacroix with the header, and then Gray, right place, right time, bam, 1-0. And I think I said at half time, like, going in 1-0, given Palace's struggles playing 2 games a week and knowing that there's a likelihood they might tie near the end of the game, the longer you go, that stays at 1-0, the better it is for you, because they're going to struggle to keep up their intensity. And so it showed in that second half. But yeah, I think first half, as much as a hard watch, we defended pretty well. Second half, it was a weird one. I thought we were better from, obviously, for the end of the game. For the last 20 minutes, we were better. But for the first 25 minutes, we were definitely lucky not to concede. They had some really presentable chances. Devaney, Guehi, Lacroix all should have scored, if we're being honest. So we got lucky on that, on that sense. And as well, we offered very little. I think we had our first shot in that second half on 73 minutes. So it was very tough. But what happened was what's happening with Palace a lot, going into a latter exchange of the game. When they've played a game in midweek, they really struggle to keep up their intensity, and we started to exploit them on the counter come late in the game. And the tactic, I think what I assume was the tactic for most of the game, started to work in the latter stage of the game, especially when we brought on Brennan Johnson. They were stretching Palace. I actually thought one key tactical sub was also Paulinho. I think him coming on, why I think his substitution was really vital is because clearly it was a tactic from Tottenham to sit a bit deeper and clog up the space, not give Palace much space. And once he came on, because that's our tactic to avoid the space, it meant Palace had to be a bit more incisive. They had to be a lot sharper with their pass, a lot more accurate. And once the game was going on and they were getting tired and, their passing started to wane a bit and they started to lack that energy, Paulinho was just mopping everything up. He was snapping at their heels. He was breaking up their play. And all of a sudden, he really started to dominate in that middle for the last part of the game. And I think his energy, what he brings off the ball, we all know it. It's not what he brings off the ball is that people complain about. It's what he brings on the ball. And what he brings off the ball was a massive compliment to him, and I thought he came on, did really well, and it just made sure that in that latter stage of the game, Palace were really struggling to create anything, really, for the last part, and I thought we should have probably killed the game off. But it's not, I don't think it's unfair to say for about 75 minutes of that game, we were probably lucky to be ahead.
Yeah, I thought for the first hour, Spurs weren't great, but definitely in the latter stages, we had our best moment. For the last 20 minutes, I thought Spurs were really good, to be honest, and we were catching Palace out. Johnson was a threat on that right-hand side. Odegaard came on, made a real difference on that left-hand side. I was really happy with the way we finished that game. And yeah, look, we could say Palace were tired and Palace played 2 games in a week, and this is what happens every time. But also, we hung in there. And, a lot of teams do that at Palace. It's not an easy place to go, is it, to Selhurst Park? And what did they create XG-wise on the day? Was it just over 1, wasn't it?
1.47.
Like, I'm sure plenty of teams will go there and concede a much bigger XG than that. against Crystal Palace. You know, we know how Ollie Glasner has made them tick since he's gone there. Obviously, they're not having the best time of it at the moment, but at Selhurst Park, they usually are a tough nut to crack. And you know you're in for a game when you go to Selhurst Park. So I haven't seen the stats. Maybe you can tell me about their XG that they've been creating at home, but surely it's majority bigger than that.
Yeah, it's one of their lower ones, I would, of the season.
So I thought Spurs...
It's pretty middle, actually.
I thought Spurs did well from that aspect. I thought Van de Ven was having a really good game at centre-back. I thought Kevin Danso... I thought Mateta gave him a bit of a hard time in the first half, but second half, I thought Kevin Danso was probably our best player in the second half. He was absolutely fantastic, gobbling up everything, aerially dominant. So those two centre-backs, I think, made a real difference for us yesterday. But yeah, I think that the changes were what really kind of swung the momentum in our favour and swung the game in our favour, in my opinion.
Yeah, it wasn't their lowest, but it wasn't their highest either. It was pretty middle. It was like fourth out of 9 home games. So,
so decent.
Well, it's middle. It's not like anything special.
For a team that you were saying we were relegation fodder last week, then you know what I mean?
Ball, we are.
Like
I've said that on the ball.
Yeah, and we won the game yesterday.
While still being relegation fodder on the ball for large part.
Regardless, we won the game, you know. 3 points more than West Ham this weekend.
Yeah, which is good. And to be fair, the league table looks a lot better now with that win. Obviously, we're only 4 points off 5th, which is crazy to think about. And it's mad as well. 1 win in our last, in 2 months away from home. And we're back top of the away table, which is also crazy. Look. Good win. You can never take a win away at Palace for granted. I agree with that. It's always a tough place to go. It's good to win there. So that's good. I'm happy with that. And I think, to be honest, it's away from home. I'm not as bothered about kind of these kind of performances, albeit it still bothers me. But I'm not as bothered as I am at home because of how we should be in front of our own fans and be more confident, all that kind of stuff. But away from, I do have a bit more understanding that this is kind of how it's going to be. Premier League is very difficult. You're going to have games where you're under the cosh and you're going to have to ride it out. So that's fine. I've got no problem. The only problem is this kind of performance is a pattern that has been following us around the whole season. This isn't a one-off for today or for yesterday, sorry. This is genuinely how I've been performing. In a regular season, this kind of game you say, okay, we weren't quite our best today, but we won the game and got away with it and we go again next time. Unfortunately, you can't really say that after this game. You can't really say, oh, it's a one-off, we got away with it and we move on, because this has been the norm, this kind of performance. So I can't sit here and say this is just, sometimes this happens. We got away with it. Delighted to get the result. You win when you're playing bad, while you're playing badly. Sign of a good team. All that kind of stuff. It's hard to say that element when this isn't a one-off. This isn't a departure from how we normally play, and we just got away with it. This is the norm of how we usually play. So that's why I'm looking at it and saying I can't really sit here and say I'm delighted with what I'm seeing. That's my point.
I was buzzing at full time, to be honest. 3 points away at Selhurst Park. I was absolutely buzzing, regardless, how poor we looked in parts. And we are the best away team in the Premier League.
Yeah, which is nuts.
You're talking about things that have happened consistently. Winning away from home for us has happened consistently this season. There's no teams that have picked up more points away from home than Tottenham Hotspur in the Premier League, which is mad.
Which, to be fair, when you think about the way we play, is probably more suited to playing away from home. And it makes sense because we play a bit more counter-attack, relying on set pieces, staying in games, and it's been paying off. Not to say I think every win has been deserved, but you know what? It doesn't really matter away from home because you just got to take what you can get away from home. That's the reality, especially in the situation we are in right now. You're not going to outplay every team away from home. That's just you got to get over that fact, and that's fine with me. I don't expect to do that. I think away from home, albeit recently it wasn't great, but then obviously we've got this win. So this is our first win away from home since Everton, which was in October. Yeah. So it's crazy to think that one win in the last 2 months and we're back on top. But
the only 2 games we've had since then away from home is Arsenal and Newcastle, right? Who else have we played away?
And Forest.
Yeah. So out of those 3, the only one that you'd probably say we should have won is Forest. The other 2, obviously, grounds at which you notoriously struggle at, Emirates and St James Park.
Is that we only had 4? I guess maybe it probably makes sense. Or we've only had 4 in the last 2 months. That's just how it lies, I guess, the fixture list. That's fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, you didn't expect a win at Arsenal or Newcastle. Probably expected a win at Forest.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, I was delighted with the 3 points yesterday, and it makes that kind of looking at the league a bit more, well, I say tolerable, but not really. We are still 11th, but we are very close to the chasing pack.
We can turn
going
it
for
around.
that top 4.
We can definitely got some good fixtures coming up potentially. So if we can get our act together, especially at home, the season is definitely still salvageable from a league point of view. We just need to start getting our act together and start playing better. That's the key. For me, always performances lead to results. And that's why I'm very big on how we're playing and what I'm seeing, rather than just looking at the result. That's not how I judge football, especially at this point. I think when it comes to the running, then it's just about getting results. And it's just about whatever. Well, you got to achieve what you got to achieve. If you're 3 points away from top 4 and you play shit and get the win, that's all that matters. But right now, when you're starting a new tenure, a new project, it's all about getting the team to play well. That's what he's trying to do at this point. I don't think Frank is... Obviously, he wants the results, but that's when you're starting out in a new job, you try to improve how the team are playing, and results should naturally follow that because you're playing better, you can see less chances, you're creating more, blah blah blah. So that's what we got. That's what the key he's got to do. He's got to. Right now, we are so bad on the ball, and even this includes yesterday. Apart from the last 15 minutes where we were a lot better, but again, the space opened up. Palace are chasing the game. They're tired, and we exploited them and should have killed the game. Fair enough, that's good. But in general, for most of this game, it is so bad. It is so bad on the ball. It's ridiculous. And the problem with that is the hardest thing to do. And obviously Frank's admitted that. But that takes, you've got to see improvements on a week-by-week basis on that element. It's not going to just flip on 1 week and we're just going to start playing great football from 1 week to the next. That's like a slow process. So if we're right now at this stage where we're this bad, how long is it going to be until we start seeing anything resembling a coherent plan on the ball? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and look, it's fair worries to have, but we just need to keep pace with everyone and start picking up points. And if it doesn't change, if the way we're on the ball doesn't change, then obviously we know he's not the right man for us come the end of the season. But right now we have seen, it's a very small sample size, but we have seen in certain games that we can potentially play on the ball. I mean, obviously everyone goes back to the Brentford game because we were fantastic in that game in that aspect, but we haven't seen anything kind of similar to that since, and that's the biggest problem. We've got some games at home coming up where we should be able to show that, and these are the games where your Sunderland's at home where we're going to be asked to have a lot of the ball. We need to show that we can go and attack that team and go and attack them successfully and be the dominant team in possession and really break them down. So, I mean, if we go through these next 5-6 games where we're the home team, we're the dominant team, and we've got some winnable games and we don't show that, then I think, massive alarm bells will probably start ringing after that, particularly if we don't pick up consistent points and consistent wins over these next 5 games. But he's got an opportunity to do it now. We've got a couple of decent, I wouldn't say good performances, but decent performances behind us now over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Let's hope he can build on it. That's all we can go on, really.
For sure. And I really hope he can. And I really hope he starts to turn it around. But even in these good games, I mean, apart from Brentford, it's slim pickings when it comes to what I'm seeing and what that leads to when it comes to down the line and the future and what we're building towards. That's what I'm worried about. But there were some good things. There were definitely some good things yesterday. I think Rishi had a really good game. Mm-hmm. I think in his last 10 games since that United game, I think he's got 6 goals in his last 10 games or something like that.
Look, he scored 7 Premier League goals this season alone.
I think in all competitions. He's had 2 yesterday, which were just offside, so that was unlucky. But he's in decent. He's in pretty good form, Rishi. I think Gray getting his first goal, that's going to give him confidence. I actually think Danso came in and did really well, so credit to him. And I think the back line, to be fair, probably looked a lot more secure in this game than they have done in a lot of the previous games. So that was good. Didn't concede any long shots. Vicario, largely untested. I would say it was more to do with poor finishing from Palace, but at the end of the day, he wasn't tested. So I think defence actually did well. And for the last 20 minutes, we did counter pretty effectively, which is good. And we haven't done that for I can't remember the last time we countered that effectively. We're quite good in transition when winning a tackle or something in the middle of the park. We've done that. But when it comes to really countering an opposition when they're on the attack, we've struggled to do that. And I think having Brennan Odebear definitely helped with that. And Odebear as well. What a cameo from him.
Yeah.
What a cameo from him.
That shot that cannoned off the post, I mean, you can feel the post vibrating from where I was sitting, I swear. It hit so hard against the post. Yeah, that move deserved the goal, to be honest. But look, we just got to move forward, and these wins help us ticking over. Because if we would have lost this game, we're getting closer and closer down to the relegation zone. Leeds picked up another point on the weekend, and you're thinking if Leeds would have won and we would have lost, they would have been on the same points as us, which is just crazy. So as much as you say that, results don't really matter at this stage and you just want to see performances over results, which is fair enough, but the more we lose and drop points, the more closer we're going to get to that relegation zone.
But I would argue we're losing and dropping points because we're not playing well. That's why. That's the root cause of it. It's
true, but again, no one has picked up more away points than us this season whilst we're not playing well. So those points are very valuable to us.
I'm not saying they're not valuable, but that doesn't... my point is that's, for me, that's not a building block for long-term good, sustainable results, in my opinion. And I think we saw that early in the season. We were third in the league. Everyone was going, oh, look how amazing we are. Look, top of the away table, blah, blah, blah. This was in October. And I was saying, okay, look, we're getting good results. We're not playing well. We should we should talk about these negative things. But people saying, yeah, but who could have expected, if I told you in October we're going to be third and we're going to be this high in the Champions League, you would have bitten my hand off. And that's true. But kind of just ignore these negatives, and those negatives have come back to bite us in the arse, and we've been getting really bad results for me because of how we've been playing. Now we won yesterday for the first time in 2 months, and somehow that makes us back at the top of the away table. Fine, that's good, but those negatives still remain. They haven't gone away just because of that.
And I totally agree with that, but the reality is we don't know what the future holds for Thomas Frank, and if he keeps playing like this, come the summer, we're going to be wanting him out the job, regardless if we finish, if we're not going to finish high up the table if we keep playing like this. That's the reality. So just take the wins when we get them right now. We don't know what the future holds under Thomas Frank, and, that will come to light at the end of the season, or if it gets really bad, at some point during this season.
So just ride the wave, don't think too much about the football, and just take any win as it comes.
And see what happens, see what happens.
I think deeper about football than that, but for each their own.
Yeah, you can think deeper about it, but ultimately the result's always going to be the same.
Of course, but that's why I love football. I like talking about it. I like talking about the storylines that, what we think's going to happen, what is happening, and predict what we think might happen in the future. That's what I enjoy about football. Obviously, I also love just taking the wins as they come and enjoying each game as it is, but this is what we talk about football for a reason. It's not just because of that one game. It's the whole thing around it, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're doing right now. We're talking about it.
That's my point.
Nobody is happy with the majority of the way that we're playing right now. And I don't think anyone can say hand on heart that they think Frank is the future of Tottenham Hotspur going into next season. Right now, as bad as it is to say, right now it just seems like it's all about just snatching and grab any win that we can possible, because we're just not playing well enough to kind of win games in our own merit and kind of break teams down and have possession-based football. So that's why I was buzzing with yesterday, because the bar's just set so low.
That's the problem.
That is a problem, but there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we can do about it till the end of the season. We do talk about it every day.
Exactly. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
So there we go.
What do you mean, there we go?
We're talking about it. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, and?
So what's the problem with that?
I never said there's a problem.
But you're saying there's nothing we could do.
There is nothing we can do.
Okay, so what? Don't mention it.
I never said don't mention
Okay,
it.
so it's fine. So we're talking about. That's all I'm saying. We should talk about it.
Yeah, fine. And I don't understand.
I don't understand what you're saying.
I'm just saying there's nothing we can do about it.
So
like,
what?
just take every win that comes and be happy about it. Like,
So there you go,
we won
be
3
happy.
points.
Why should I? Okay, fine. So I should be happy about it.
If Spurs get 3 points, yeah.
I am happy we got 3 points.
Good.
But
Happy days.
But I'm also going to talk about what's not to be
Like,
happy
nobody's
about.
happy with the way we're playing right now.
You just said be happy. Why aren't you happy?
I'm happy with the 3 points. I told you I was buzzing yesterday after
There
the
you go.
game. Absolutely buzzing. I went out to Selhurst Park. I came back with 3 points.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for right now. That is the maximum you can ask for right now. Because Spurs are shit. We're shit. So if you take 3 points, it's like bloody winning a trophy. That's how bad we are.
Don't even.
That's how bad we are.
It's not even a 4th place trophy anymore. It's a 3-point trophy.
But seriously, like,
But you're contradicting yourself. No one can be happy, but you should be happy.
no one can be happy with the way we're playing. There's two separate things. No one can be happy with the way we're playing. But if you take 3 points, you've got to be delighted because we're so shit.
Okay. I'm happy we won. That's great. Mm-hmm. But I'm also going to talk about why it doesn't change much for me just winning necessarily. Oh, look, and maybe there was some stuff that we can take. And I think there was some positives we can take away, and hopefully we can improve on those. Keep Rishi in the form he's in. Let's start playing Odebear more from the start, please. There's a few like Graham, but hopefully Bergwall's injury wasn't too bad, but
Yeah,
he seemed to
that
go off
didn't look
injury.
good.
That didn't look good. There were some positives for sure, but we just need to start. I need to start seeing us so much better on the ball, and I just got a feeling it's going to take a long time to get there. That's what I don't like.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. But I just don't know if... I don't think like I said before, I don't think anyone can say Frank is the right guy for us. I think come the end of the season, we're going to be looking for a new manager. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Look, maybe people who call in are right, and maybe it's just the players. Maybe they're all terrible, and Frank's doing the best he can. Maybe it's true, and we'll see. I don't know.
I think it's probably somewhere in the middle, isn't it? Frank can be doing better. The players could be doing better. The players could be, as in the quality of player we have could be a lot better. I think that's the reality.
Oh, for sure.
That yesterday we played two teenagers in the middle of the park with Rodrigo Bentancur. I think our midfield, more or less week in, week out gets dominated against oppositions. So is there a quality issue there? Most probably. The forward line, as much as they should be doing a lot better in terms of Frank should be getting a lot more out of them, there is a massive quality issue there in terms of the forward line. So there is a quality issue in our team, but on the flip side of that, Frank should be getting more out of them in terms of our playing style. So I think people on this way, the answer is probably somewhere more in the middle.
As it usually is.
Yeah.
As
So,
it usually is.
all right. So a great 1-0 win away at Selhurst Park. Top
Heroic.
of the charts in terms of our away form this season.
Memorable
You
1-0
can't-
win.
It is. It was a memorable 1-0 win. You see the fans yesterday, how buzzing they
Yeah,
were.
let's talk about that. The fans. Why? What was it about yesterday? You think they just got the fans going? What? Because they were so loud throughout the. We saw it from minute one. We were here in the studio listening to it. You couldn't hear the Palace fans. Palace fans are one of the few clubs in the Premier League known for having very good home support, and Spurs outsung them for pretty much the whole game, from what we could hear. Was there something that you felt was a reason for that, or just happened to catch them on a good day, or was there anything specific to yesterday, do you feel?
I think there's a bit of a thing in the away fans right now where it's like similar to harping back to the 90s. Spoke to a few fans about this in the away end yesterday, where we're so bad that everyone that's going to these away games is just, you know what, let's just have a good time with it. Let's just sing our hearts out for 90 minutes and see what comes of it. And Spurs fans did that during the 90s. Obviously, it was a different time going to football then as well. But yeah, it just felt like, festive period as well. Everyone was in good spirits. A lot of drinks were being consumed in the away end yesterday.
Okay. Maybe no work the following day. Does everyone work at work today? Maybe actually.
Some people are, some people aren't. But I think, a lot of people are off work. So I think it was just a case of just everyone was just down to have a good time really yesterday. And it led to an unbelievable atmosphere, literally singing for 90 minutes. All the Bilbao songs were coming out and you chanting into Europe Bilbao, and stuff like that. And it was just fantastic. So I think that's what away end should be like. No matter if you're playing well, bad, whatever. That's what it should be like going to football.
Where's the final of the Champions League this year? Budapest?
Yeah.
But no one was singing that because no one believes it.
No one will sing that.
So people are still singing about on our way to Bilbao, even though we've been.
No, we won it in Bilbao.
We won it in Bilbao. So you're thinking how you were saying that with the rising expectations over the years, the atmosphere has gone down. But
there's no expectations anymore.
So now the expectations are decreasing again.
And the atmosphere is getting better.
The atmosphere is getting better. So the better we are, the worse time you have at the game, and then the worse we are, the better time. So
basically, yeah.
That's why you're
but the horrible thing about it is in that middle ground when you think like maybe expectations, but you're actually really shit, and that causes for no good, as we saw at the beginning of the season. But now I genuinely believe most Spurs fans are going to most games now with no expectations, with minimal expectations. So what would you do? Do you go to the game and have a boring outtake of it and don't even like try and have a good time? Or do you go and have a good time? I know which one I'd prefer.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I don't blame you. And maybe I would feel different if I was at the game yesterday. Maybe I would have been buzzing. Maybe it's because I had to watch it on TV and I didn't really get a feel for the atmosphere. And I'm just. And
also, by the way, I couldn't see half the game yesterday, so that maybe.
No wonder you were buzzing.
Maybe that played into why I was having such a good time yesterday.
You didn't have to watch it. You didn't have to watch that rubbish.
Literally, I get to my seat and I can't see half the pitch.
You know who scored? Yeah.
I didn't know when the ball went in. I had to wait for the stadium announcer.
Incredible.
But it was a great day yesterday at Selhurst Park, and I'm sure every Spurs fan that was in that away end yesterday had an unbelievable time.
Sounded like it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's also maybe the difference between match-going fans and fans who are watching on TV, and the different how those emotions make you feel about a game and stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe.
I do think when you on social media, when you look at a lot of the people, there's sometimes a bit of a difference when you look at people who go to the games and people who just watch it.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I much prefer going to games, because it's just like that raw atmosphere, particularly at away games, is just like something like no other. At home games with the atmosphere like it is at home, it's pretty much the same as watching on TV, to be honest.
So true.
But away games are a completely different kettle of fish, and yesterday was probably the best atmosphere I experienced this season.
Yeah, it sounded incredible when we were there.
All right, well, that is our match review. Let's move on to player ratings. And we'll start off with Guillermo Vicario. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I thought he dealt with everything well that came his way. I mean, the saves that he was making was kind of like all routine saves. But what he did do really well, that I was very impressed with, the way he commanded and controlled his box. I think that was really impressive, and caught and claimed quite a few crosses. And I was actually giving him a lot of praise, and then 2 minutes later he kicked the ball out for no reason. But look, I thought he was decent yesterday. Yeah,
that's something he doesn't get enough credit for how that he's kind of kicked out of his game, how flappy he was from corners and things and crosses. He's become a lot more assured of himself. He's definitely worked on that. Unfortunately, there still was a lot he has to work on, but that was good. In terms of like saves he had to make, I think, to be honest, their finishing was really poor. Every time was over the bar, so he didn't actually have to make too many saves. So that was fine. He had a standard game. I think he was pretty solid. I wasn't worried about him making a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely.
6.6 is the fan rating.
Yeah, so exactly in between us. So kind of makes sense. The fans have got a similar view of me and you combined. So they've gone for 6.6. I saw his parents as well at half time. They were... I didn't really see them smile, but...
No, not in good spirits. They usually have had a few drinks.
Yeah, they usually have good... I mean, I just saw them smoking some cigarettes and having a beer together, so Yeah, that was them. Anyway, let's move on to Pedro Porro. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. I thought he struggled a lot defensively in the first half. I thought, they were getting in behind him a couple of times. But I thought the majority of what we're doing going forward, he had his part to play. Obviously, it was his corner that forced the goal through. He put in a lovely cross for Richarlison for the offside goal as well. And I thought a couple of times he was putting in some nice balls.
Yeah, I felt his decision-making was really odd in terms of just such wayward passing a lot of the time. It was quite frustrating for me. There was a moment he took a throw-in, laid back to him, and he did this stupid volley right up in the air. And it was just putting us under pressure. Like, when he's in this mode, Porro, he can be quite frustrating. And obviously, he's been in this mode for quite a few games this season. But I agree with you. I think when we did go forward, he had a big part to play. Unfortunately, it was just so far between in the game. But he laid off a nice shot for Bentacle right at the end as well. So was getting forward quite well. It wasn't a disaster, but I just thought it wasn't a great game from him.
Were the majority of those passes in the first half?
No, the one for Bentancur was in the second half.
And the other ones?
Oh, you mean what part? The sloppy passes?
Yeah.
Can't remember. I think there was a bit of both, to be honest.
Because if they were, then I didn't see them. Because that side of the pitch was completely blocked for me.
There you go.
Let's move on to big Kevin Danso. 8s all round for Danso. And I thought in the first half he was struggling a little bit with Mateta and the physicality. But second half, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. The fans were waxing lyrical about him, singing his song time and time again. I thought he was aerially dominant. Massive part to why Palace was shut out a little bit in that second half. I mean, they did have a couple of chances, presentable ones as well, but not for the fault of Kevin Danso, because I thought he was immense in that second half.
Yeah, and he's the ball was like a magnet to his head, isn't it? At times during that second half when they're crossing the balls, the ball in like time after time, and he's just standing up and being counted, getting the blocks in. I thought he was brilliant. To be honest, I agree with you. First 20 minutes or so, or maybe even first half an hour, it was a big battle between him and Mateta. Mateta was really putting him under pressure. He was struggling to contain him, but once he got him under control, Mateta was all of a sudden in his pocket, and I felt he was really starting to dominate as the game went on and was having a really good game. He was a big part of why we won. Also played a really nice long pass over the top to Richarlison in the first half. Richarlison then took a heavy touch and forced the ball too far out wide, but that was a really good play from Danso. And I think in general, really strong showing, and especially with Romero out, he had to step up, and he did.
And the fans gave him 7.5. So again, right in between me and you.
Well, we both gave him an 8.
Oh, you gave him an 8.
Yeah.
So just below us. Just below us. Let's move on to Mickey van der Ven. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. I thought he was immense, to be honest. I thought he was probably our best defender on the day. There was one challenge he put in. I think it was in the first half, where it was just unbelievable challenge, where he just kind of wrapped himself around the Palace attacker. I don't think he came... I thought he dominated in the duels that he was contesting in, trying to drive us a little bit up the pitch. But I thought he was immense. Didn't put a foot wrong.
Didn't put a foot wrong, but I think Danso just did a bit more than him, so I gave Danso 1 extra point. But I think he was great. I had no complaints. I think him and Danso had a really good partnership. A few times the ball came over down the line, and you just know when Van der Ven comes in and he's got his eye on the ball and he's steaming in. There's only one winner, isn't it, with Van der Ven? And attackers seem to be scared of him with that pace he has just coming towards them, and he was brilliant on that occasion. I thought some of his marking wasn't particularly great, but thankfully we didn't concede, which is fine. I think he did pretty good.
Jed Spence, Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 7. I thought from a defensive capability, I thought he did well. There were times where he was trying to wriggle himself out of situations, and sometimes you'd get past, sometimes you'd lose the ball, which was a bit frustrating of how inconsistent it was. But look, I thought he was decent. I don't think he was anything great. I don't think he was poor. I think he put in a decent game, but I don't think he got dribbled past at all in the game. I thought he was defensively sound.
Yeah, I think he's probably thanking him, his lucky stars is up against Nathaniel Klein and not Munoz, because I think it could have been a very different game. But yeah, Spence kept him in his pocket pretty much the whole game. Who even played Devaney? Yeah, Devaney didn't have much joy down that side as well. I thought think when they made a change, they started to get a bit more joy temporarily. But Spence had a pretty solid game. I think defensively was where most of his work was done. Wasn't really an effect in the forward line, to be honest. So didn't rate him too much higher than a 6, but I thought he defended pretty well.
And again,
6.7.
6.7, a bit in between me and you. Next up is Rodrigo Bentancur. Sim gives him a 6. I gave him a 5. I thought he was really poor in the first half. I thought he was getting run circles around me. He looked a bit lost in the middle of the park. Second half, I thought he improved. But as he was kind of growing into the game, I thought he got taken off. So it was a good decision by Frank at the end of the day, because Paulinho played very well and gave us what we needed at that point in the game. But I felt just as he was growing into the game, he got taken off.
Didn't he play 90 minutes?
I thought he got taken off for Paulinho, didn't he?
No, because he had a shot in the 90th minute, didn't he, Bentancur? Which was
well, I thought he got taken off. Clearly not.
Because he was on the other side of the pitch, that's why. Yeah, I didn't think he was spectacular. I thought there was also a point in that second half where Nketiah was getting around him and causing real problems, and that was a scary moment. But I also thought
mainly in the first half, though, wasn't it?
Well, Nketiah came on in the second half. First half as well, yeah.
You're right, actually. You're right, because I remember saying to the guy next to me, I said to him, Nketiah is giving Bentancur the run around here.
Yeah, he was in that second half at times. But I thought, as you say, once we overrode that moment, he actually grew into it a lot late in the game and nearly scored a goal right at the end. So that was okay. But yeah, 6.2. You gave him a 5. I gave him a 6. So a bit higher than you and me.
First time. Archie Gray up next. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him an 8. Obviously gets his first goal for the football club. We won 1-0, and obviously it was his goal. That gives us the 3 points. So brilliant, and delighted for him to have that moment. And you saw how, his face was just beaming up the whole of Selhurst Park, to be honest. I thought he took a bit of a while to kind of grow into the game, and obviously Man City's midfield completely dominated ours in the first half. But I thought as the game wore on, he was getting better. And I thought he actually looked really good when he moved into a kind of offensive position in the midfield as well. Played that lovely ball for Kudus for Richarlison's offside goal. But I thought Archie was getting better and better, and maybe he could be a kind of stand-in 10 while Javi's out.
And maybe Bergval's out, so he might have to be. We'll have to wait and see what the state of his injury. I agree. I actually liked him in that position. Not sure. I think it was more the circumstance of the game. Palace opening up. There's a lot of space there, and he exploited it really well. If it was a different situation, would he have done as well? Well, we'll never know. But it was a weird one from Archie. I actually didn't think he was having a great game in the first half, and I actually thought they were getting very close to him, and he was losing the ball with some sloppy touches and putting us under pressure. And I thought he was actually struggling, but it was almost as if that goal was a change for him. And once he headed that in the right at the end of the first half, he seemed to grow in confidence. And I thought that second half he was much better, much more controlled, wasn't giving the ball away as sloppily as he was, and actually thought he had a much better game. And obviously he was the match winner, so he gets an extra point for that. And as you said, when he moved into the 10, his passing was good. He was dangerous and unlucky, maybe not to be involved in another goal. So good. Another good performance from Archie. And again, right in the middle of us too, 7.5.
7.5. Next up is Mohamed Kudus. Sim gives him a 5. I gave him a 6. Look, I felt in the first half he was our only kind of outlet of attack. We were trying to get the ball to him. He was trying to do what we do and give it to Kudus and basically can see what happens. And I thought it was just very frustrating, wasn't it? It was very frustrating. Like Kudus was doing, his intent was there, but he just couldn't pull much off. Obviously, he gets the assist for the offside goal, which was a cross that was completely on the money for Richarlison.
Outside of the boot.
Yeah, it was lovely. It really was lovely. But I just came away from it more frustrated with Kudus than not. But probably no fault of his own, but just mainly the tactics on display on the day.
Yeah, it seems to be a common theme recently, is that fans are getting frustrated with Kudus. But I think if you watch the games back, I don't think it's much to do with him necessarily. I think there are a few times where maybe he could be a bit more direct, but if you just pause the game when he's on the ball, more often than not, he's got like 2 or 3 players around him, and there's not a player within 20 yards of him.
Yeah.
And he must be getting frustrated himself, and he's doing a lot of legwork with very little reward at the moment. And I think yesterday was the same. I didn't think it was a great game from him, to be honest, in general. Although I would say for both offside goals, he had a big part to play One of them was nice interchange with him, Bergvall and Porro for the first goal, and then a brilliant outside of the boot cross for the second goal, which was really unlucky to be ruled out. So if it wasn't for the offside flag, I'd probably be giving him maybe a 7 or an 8. Unfortunately, the offside flag exists, and he, apart from the offside goals, didn't really affect the game too much.
Yeah. But the fans go for 6.7 for Mohamed Kudus. So
yeah, quite high.
So what did we give?
6 and a 5 and a 6.
Yeah, so they've gone a lot higher than us.
Yeah, a lot higher.
Let's go to Lucas Bergvall. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. I mean, he was on the pitch for an hour, right? And for that hour, I thought Spurs were really poor. And he was supposed to be the one in the 10 and one asking the questions of the Palace defence. And I don't think he was able to do that, to be honest. Obviously, tactics come into play, but we're talking about personal performance here. And I thought he put himself about. You know, he looked physically ready for the challenge and a lot of running and a lot of work rate, but not too much quality, I thought.
See, I disagree. I thought he was played pretty well. I actually think it was more of a 4-3-3 than a 4-2-3-1. I actually think Bergvall was playing quite a bit deeper. From what I could see, he didn't seem to be too advanced. I don't know if that was instruction or not, but he seemed to be quite a lot deeper during the game. And I actually thought there was some really good stuff from him, like quick interchanges. And I thought most of the time when we were able to get out of Palace's press, it was due to Bergvall doing something, a little interchange, a little flick into either Porro or Kudus' path, and we were able to get forward. I thought he was driving with the ball forward. Yeah, there was some sloppy moments as well, don't get me wrong, and we were penned in for a lot of that half, but I actually like Bergvall in this game, and he was unfortunately taken off with maybe an injury, but I didn't mind him.
Well, the fans go 6.2.
So closer to you than me.
Yeah. Kolo Muani, 5s all round for Muani, and I was frustrated when I saw the lineup knowing that he's on the left-hand side, and unfortunately I thought he put in a really poor display out on that left-hand side. I thought whenever he got the ball, I felt that the Palace players dealt with him pretty easily. A lot of loose touches in there from Muani as well, which was really frustrating. But the one good thing he did in the game was keep the ball alive for the corner, which I thought he did really well. So he had a big impact in the goal that we scored. But apart from that, I thought he was really poor, to be honest.
He also won the corner, didn't he? That was also quite a good play because if you watch the replay,
there was a penalty shout there.
He takes the control on his back heel, somehow gets it in front of him, and he takes on Guehi, but unfortunately Guehi blocks his shot. It was a bit of a penalty shout, but actually did quite well to win the corner as well. And then obviously from the corner did really well to keep the play alive. But I would say, it was difficult for him. I think he's I'm starting to think he's in the side for what he can do in terms of Tottenham playing long balls and getting the ball to him, because he can make it stick. Obviously, he can win headers. He's physical. And I think a big part of our game, and it definitely was at Brentford, is playing it long and winning those second balls. And once you get it down, having won that second ball, then you can start to play a bit once there's a bit more space. And I think that's what we're trying to do a lot of the time when we're going long to Richarlison. And I think getting Muani in there, because if you had Odebear there, and we go long to him, he's going to have a harder time making it stick, isn't he? Whereas Muani is going to be a lot more combative, and we're going to get the ball in their half more if that's our approach. I would obviously argue we shouldn't go long as much as we are, but anyway, by the by, I think Muani did struggle in general play, didn't have too much of an impact on the game, especially on the left-hand side. But he tried his hardest. I could see a player trying, but unfortunately, he struggled.
Yeah. I just feel like he's a bit wasted out on that left-hand side. Like, he needs to be as a striker. He needs to be a striker. Would you, out of the two though, like Richarlison and Muani, who would you prefer out on the left if we have to play both of them?
Oh, Muani.
Play this? You prefer Muani?
Oh, definitely. I think Muani's been much better on the left. When we've seen Rishi there in recent, I know Rishi was great there for Everton, but I haven't seen him play well there once for us, really. But he did some good stuff in the Europa League, to be fair, off the left. But I think when you look at the skill sets of both players, I just think Muani offers more than
I just
Rishi.
haven't been able to see it yet for Muani in a Spurs shirt on the left.
I'm not saying he offers a lot. I'm just saying more than Rishi on the left.
All right, let's move on to Rishi now. Well, by the way, the fans gave Muani a 6.
And we both gave him 5.
So still higher than us. Next up is Richarlison. See there, the fans have given him 7.5. And Simmer's given him an 8, and I've given him a 7. Look, he was fantastic. Obviously, he has the ball in the net twice. One of them was the offside for Bergvall. The other one was Richarlison in the stands. I thought they were both Richarlison. So I was going mad at Richarlison. Why can't he stay onside, man?
I think he might have been offside for both as well, to be honest. I think actually he might have been offside for the first, but they didn't get to that because Bergvall was off before.
But what he was doing, he was tiring out their defence. He was literally non-stop. He was facing them up all the time. He was a bit of a battering ram. He didn't stop running throughout the whole game, showing bits of quality as well. On another day, he even showed some quality in terms of his chance creation as well. Obviously, he gets an assist for a good header in the box. But on another day, he could have ended that game with a couple of goals and a couple of assists.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he was brilliant. I was shocked when I've seen some people complaining about him after the game. I thought he was really good. That was one of his stronger performances, to be honest. I thought up against Lacroix and Guehi were two top centre-backs. I thought he gave him a real tough time. And physically as well, I was really surprised how he was able to compete against both of them. I thought he was going to really struggle. And I think, look, for large parts, that they were getting the better of him, but there was a large part, there were significant parts, I should say, of the game where he was going toe-to-toe and battling and winning headers. In fact, you look at the stats, I was really surprised. He won 9 of his 15 aerial duels.
Wow.
So winning, that was a lot against Lacroix and Guehi, who were 2 of the best. Also won 3 out of 5 ground duels. So he was a real menace to them. He didn't make it easy. And also 3 key passes, 1 big chance created, and obviously 1 assist. I thought the finishes for the goals were pretty good. Unfortunately, they were offside, so he doesn't get anything for those. There was 1 chance as well he definitely should have done better with, where I think we win it hard the pitch, we play him in on goal, and it was a terrible finish. But I also thought he did really well linking up with Odegaard when he came on. I thought their synergy was really good.
That little 1-2 was brilliant, yeah.
There was that, but there wasn't that. He also did another 1-2 where Odegaard got in behind and cut it across the face of goal, so that was also good. And I thought he linked up really well with Brennan. He played Brennan in a couple of times, which he probably could have done better. And I think Brennan played him in. So I thought his link up with the forward line was great. I thought his hold-up play was great. I thought his workway was great. I just thought it was a top striker performance. If he performed like this every week, we wouldn't have that much of an issue. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think in terms of our offensive players, he was the best of the lot for sure. But yeah, the fans give him a 7.5. So again, right halfway in between me and you. We move on to the substitutes. First off, João Palhinha, who didn't come on for Bentancur, but he came on for Bergvall, who went off injured.
Yes.
But Palhinha, I thought he came on a bit like Ron Seal, does what it says on the tin, puts in a couple of really good challenges, started to help us win that midfield battle and kind of hurt Crystal Palace on the transition, and I think he had a vital part of that. I was really happy with the way he played when he came on. Yeah,
it was a really good cameo, and just what we needed as well at the time when under the cosh, we just needed someone just destroying, because I felt like Palace were just... They were playing too many passes and were building ahead of steam without anyone interrupting them. And Palhinha just came on and he was kind of interrupter in chief, wasn't he? He was just tasked with breaking up all their moves and making sure it's much more difficult for them to build up their attacking moves. And I thought he did a really good job with that. So I think, to be honest, a few times now Palhinha has come on in this kind of role and we're winning. I think against Brentford as well, he came on for the last half an hour and was brilliant.
Yeah.
I think in this kind of role, it really suits him, especially in this game state when we're winning. And then we just need someone to keep breaking up their play. I think that really suits him, because when you've got a team, when you're ahead and you're protecting your lead, you've got a team when we're defending a bit more and the space is tighter, and you've got someone like Palhinha who's just basically kicking your shins, and every time you get near a box, he's kicking it away. That gets really frustrating, I think, for the opposition. So I think this is a role that's quite tailor-made for him. Yeah, it's the best role for him in the squad, coming on those in the latter stages of the game and just helping us see out the game. I think, 100%. Doing very well at that. But the fans have the exact same opinion as us for the first time in the player rating. 7.0 for João Palhinha from you guys out there. Let's move on to Wilson Odegaard. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. Maybe an 8 is a bit fair. I thought Odegaard was fantastic. He was electric when he came on. Against the tired legs of Palace, they just couldn't handle him. He was getting in behind. He was providing some really nice link-up play, creation. Had that shot that cannoned off the post. I mean, the guy was relentless down that left-hand side, and
maybe staking a claim for a start. But
Not the first time, has he staked a claim for a start?
Yeah, look, he's come on in a couple of games and looked electric. So maybe this is a good role for him coming off the bench against tired legs. But how long can Frank ignore him if he keeps making these cameos?
But I don't understand why he ignored it. Like he was in good form, and then he just suddenly he had that one bad game against Arsenal and just basically not played as much since then.
I know.
It's just very strange. Even against United, came on, was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was that before or after Arsenal? I think it might be after.
That was before.
It came in before, but
It was the game before, yeah.
the game before. So I don't understand why he's underutilised him as much as he has. I think he's actually looked quite good. I know, I'm not saying he's, where Tottenham are, of course we need we want at least a much better talent in that area. But I think for what he is, for his age and whatever, I think he's been playing quite well. Like, I don't have a massive problem with him. And he was really unlucky not to get a goal contribution. I thought he linked up really well with Rishi. One thing that really stood out to me, which really surprised me, was there was a long ball that came over the top. He's chasing it down with Lacroix. Lacroix's looking favourite for it, and he somehow out-muscles Lacroix and gets ahead of him and creates an opportunity from it. I was like, wow. How is he, Odegaard, this guy who's seen as like a lightweight winger, how is he out-muscling Lacroix? I couldn't believe that. And I'm like, maybe that's something he's been working on, because that was really impressive. He seemed more confident as well, taking some more shots. Obviously, that one that hit the post was, a bit of instinct, but I liked it. It was really good technique. And really unlucky not to create a goal for, I think, Porro and Bentancur right at the end. So really great cameo. And they also resorted to fouling him. They couldn't really get the ball off him as well, which obviously relieves the pressure. So that was a really great cameo from him.
Let's hope we can see some more of the same. But, Matty's tail doesn't even get on the pitch. Other players that came on that we haven't given a rating to Brennan Johnson. I thought he was lively down that right-hand side, and he provided a really good outlet for us on the transition. I was happy with Brennan Johnson's last bit of cameos. He really helped us. And Radu Dragusin, really good to see him back. Nearly a year out, and with his first touch, he put the ball in the back of the net, which is crazy. But I like what I saw from Dragusin yesterday. He looked really comfortable on the pitch.
Yeah, just helped us see out the game. I didn't look out of place. He looked confident as well. Wasn't scared to get involved in those duels. That was good, and just great to see him. And obviously, what was it, 2 years ago? Bentancur at Selhurst Park coming back, and now Dragusin on the same ground. So that's obviously great. In terms of Johnson, I thought it was a really good cameo, and I liked what he showed. Just stretched Palace and was running in behind, something that Kudus just doesn't do. I feel if Kudus just had that in his game, he would be so much more of a complete player. But there was one moment in the game that really frustrated me, and again, I do think it comes down to Thomas Frank, because he must be telling Johnson or every player to do this. There was a chance, he's in on goal. He's yes, the angle's quite wide, but we know Johnson is very good at firing it across the face of goal into that far corner. We've seen him do it a few times now for Tottenham, and especially for Forest. That was one of his basically textbook Johnson finishes. And he had again, same against Newcastle and same in this game. He had a chance to shoot from a tight angle across that far corner, and this was a more favourable angle than the other one. And he decides to pass it inside instead of shooting into a riskier pass, which will end up being cleared. And that's not the first time. And I'm so sure it comes from the fact that Frank is drilling into them. This is a low XG area. You're better off trying to pass it to a player inside for a higher XG chance than going for goal yourself. And I'm just thinking Johnson knows how to score from that area. He's got to be encouraged to shoot rather than always looking for the pass, because if players are going to back off you, because everyone was backing off him and basically giving him the free shot, but he still decided to pass, because I'm pretty sure that is what the instruction is in that area. And that frustrates me because he's such a good finisher.
Yeah, it's true. But he got down to the byline once, put a lovely cross.
Yeah, that's good.
Lovely cross, and no one was there to finish it. Like, where was everyone? Like, it was perfect. That was the game there. But we won it anyway, so it didn't matter. But moving on to Thomas Frank, 7s all round for Thomas Frank. I thought he managed this game. His in-game management in this game was pretty good, to be honest, because I think the subs that he made really did, pull the game into our favour. João Palhinha and Wilson Odegaard obviously came on and did really well. The starting lineup, I mean, the only problem I had with the starting lineup was having Kolo Muani out on that left-hand side. But regardless of whatever starting lineup he plays, it's just a bit of a laborious watch most of the times. And look, Palace dominated us for the first hour of this game. And Palace, Could have scored a couple of goals, so it wasn't great for the first hour, but we got ourselves in front. He made the changes, and we didn't really look like conceding after the changes were made. So good in-game management, but needs to sort out the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think the tactic was a smart tactic for this game in terms of giving Palace possession. If I look at the stats, they had overall 62% possession, and I don't know for a fact, but if I was to guess, I would guess that's their highest possession stats.
I thought it was
of the season.
I thought it was. Didn't someone say it?
I don't know where that is. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it is. There. Where's possession?
Next to XGA.
Oh yeah. So there you go. So I think that was intentional from Frank to give them the ball, give them the ascendancy, and ask them to break you down, and then we'll hit them on the counter. And I think it definitely worked for the last 15 minutes. And maybe the whole game plan was to gear up for that moment, keep it tight, maybe nick a goal, make sure you're not giving them any easy chances or any easy transitions, which we know Palace really like. They're very good in their transitions. And then once we know maybe they're starting to tire a bit, or once it's more difficult for them, you really try and kill the game off in the second half. And, from that point of view, I think tactically that element worked, because I do think Palace in general, they didn't maybe create the chances in the manner they usually do, which is quick transitions, one quick passing, and then they're in on goal and that kind of stuff. We didn't afford them that. But what I would say is the defending for a lot of their crosses was poor, to be honest. On another day, at least one of those goes in. Mateta, Guehi, Devaney, Lacroix all had very, very good opportunities. So our defending from inside the box from crosses wasn't particularly great. I thought our defending from open play when it comes to shots from around the edge of the area was better. We were getting more blocks in and stuff like that. And I thought we were a lot more better in transition late in the game, a lot more better on the counter-attack, and should have killed off the game. So that was good. I thought the substitutions were really good. They really affected the game positively, so I'm going to give him credit for that as well. So there was some good stuff, how he managed the game, but I do think he's quite fortunate we end up with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, look, I think we had 2 offside goals in there as well.
Yeah, so from that point of view, we're unfortunate.
So,
but then again, if we concede an offside goal, you don't really say, "Oh, we should have conceded there."
It's not, but you're saying if they had better finishing, they would have scored. If we, stayed on side a little, we would have had more goals as well. So I mean, it's give and take, isn't it?
I guess.
So, look, I thought we did well for the most part, and. Would you say was the deserved result out of that game? A draw, a win, a loss?
I would say 1-1 was probably a deserved result. I think, look, we did well to win. I wouldn't say we necessarily, watching the game, we definitely deserved to win. But I wouldn't say, it's hard to say we got lucky, because I think it was intentional the way we played. So, albeit Palace had chances from crosses and stuff, we did restrict them in terms of clear-cut one-on-ones with keeper and stuff like that. Every chance they had to really battle for, and they had to scrap for their chances. But even within that, they did still create good chances. But the fact that if you look at all their chances, there's always players around them, right? There's always players they got to beat to score the goal. It wasn't just a one-on-one with the keeper or a real presentable chance. So from that point of view, it's not luck, but we still conceded some really presentable chances. And for large parts of the game, we look really bad on the ball.
Yeah, look, which will happen to anyone at Selhurst Park, conceding presentable chances. But I felt in the last 20 minutes was probably the best period that anyone had in the game over Palace and Tottenham. I felt like the pressure that we were putting them under for those last 20 minutes was probably the best spell anyone had.
Probably. I would say for the first 20 minutes of that half, they should have scored.
Yeah, they had some good chances, but I
think
still
they probably had the better chances.
I don't think it was
I mean, they had a higher XG than us.
Yeah, they did have an higher XG, and look, they had some good chances which they didn't put away. Granted, but I just felt like it wasn't consistent. I felt like the last 20 minutes for Spurs was consistent pressure for 20 minutes. They just had a few moments, I felt, in the first 20 minutes.
I would say it's the opposite, but fair enough.
Well, there you go. That is our player ratings. We got a couple of super chats to get into before we move on. Dom the Mod says,
Dom the Mod.
did you guys see Vuskovic saving a player's life? I did see that, actually. Like, is there anything this man can't do?
Incredible. Get him a doctorate. He'd also get him a medical degree.
Is that maybe he can head up our medical department next season?
We need someone.
Yeah.
Centre back and head of medical are kind of, you know how you got a player manager, player physio.
Player physio.
Yeah, player physio. Why not?
Nina Chow comes on and he says, I think the fans are being harsh on Kudus. He normally has nowhere. he normally has no one near him. If Bergvall is out of play, Kudus at the 10 and Johnson at right wing.
Yeah, I think we tried it for a couple of games and it didn't look terrible. And like Everton away.
Yeah.
And then we kind of abandoned it immediately. I feel like with Frank, that's also been one of my bugbears. And I guess I get it, because he's trying new things, and how do you know what's going to work until you change it? But I also feel like he doesn't let something breathe. Like, he'll try something, oh, it doesn't work, okay, scrap it immediately and go completely different direction. It's like, maybe it might work if you keep with it a bit, and he kind of changed things very quickly. But then again, this lineup, it's the third time now we've seen this lineup? Brentford, Forest, well, I guess also Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Just take out Bergvall for Simmons.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, actually, Bergvall played on the left, but it's very so different in that game. But Forest, Brentford, and this game, so maybe he's settled on this. I feel
it looks that way. I think Bentancur and Gray. Look, when you're analysing those three games, it's just like Brentford was the best of the lot, Forest was the worst, and this is like probably somewhere in the middle. It's still not great. But that's that. Philly Ali with a members chat member for 51 months. Big up, Philly Ali. He says, Ben, were the Bilbao and Champions of Europe chants in the way end sung in response to Frank's "We are a CL team" comments? I don't think so. I think those chants have pretty much been sung in away ends all season, to be honest. And you know, I won a trophy last season, so those songs should be chanted for a long time.
Frank says doesn't matter because we weren't one of the top 4 or 5. So, are we a Champions League team?
Well, we are a Champions League team because we're in the Champions League. But are we a Champions League quality team? Probably not.
Yeah, we won the trophy. It's better than finishing the top 5.
Yes, it is better in a sense of because you've got silverware to lift up and you have that night in Bilbao that no one's ever going to forget. But does it tell you that you're a more consistent team? You know, Premier League's supposed to be your bread and butter and we finished 17th. So I would rather have that night in Bilbao. I wouldn't exchange that for anything.
Exactly.
So, but it doesn't tell you you're a better team.
Tell that to Frank.
All right. Well, that is the super chats. Let's get into reacts. What have we got today? I'm on the wrong account. All right, reacts. First up is CPFC Geo saying Richarlison is actually the funniest player, man. This guy can actually never celebrate a goal without it being ruled out or being a consolation.
I know. How many goals now? If he had all his disallowed goals were counted, would he be like Premier League top goal scorer? It's nuts. Over the years, it's just crazy. Either disallowed or comes back to bite him a minute later. One of the two.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
He's like one of the most unluckiest footballers in a generation, man.
Also, they never give it on the field. It's always VAR. If it wasn't for VAR, he must hate VAR
so much, man.
He must be the player that's been cost most by VAR, I would say.
Yeah.
Surely.
Spurs Army, Brennan and Madders at the darts last night. What'd you say? Oh, that's last year.
That's last year's
But Brennan was at the darts last
with
night.
Madison.
With Madison.
So they did it in again. So they didn't cancel their trip this time. You know, Frank said before the game they cancelled their trip after the Forest. They were going to go to the darts.
Maybe they were all going to go together. Maybe Brennan was the last one standing.
I see.
Brennan's like, I'm leaving anyway. It wasn't make a difference. But yeah, them two were at the darts last night.
I'm sure they had a great night.
So this kit, what the hell is this? Because Spurs Army tweeted out from Footy Headlines, who are usually quite accurate with the kit, saying this is Nike are set to release a retro shirt during the 26-27 season. This looks absolutely horrendous. I'm not going to lie. Like, seriously, what the hell is that?
It looks horrific. It's just, I don't even like looking at it. Like, it hurts my eyes.
Maybe that's the plan.
It's weird.
Maybe that's the plan.
Oh, yeah, clever. Yeah. Very clever. If you get the opposition to close their eyes, might be get a chance of scoring a goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
I mean, you know what? I'll
what
take a horrendous kit if it makes the opposition close their eyes. To be honest, but that is an awful kit. That is probably one.
What they're trying.
That is probably one of the worst kits I've ever seen.
This can't be real.
If it is, it's ridiculous.
Who came up with this? Don't understand. What's all the? I get this. What black just stripe and then what are these other colours? Like this little. I don't know what they're.
There's red in there.
There's a bit of red. Nah, get this gone.
Get that kit in the bin, Tottenham.
Gone.
Seriously, that is awful. Paratici at the game last night with Vinay there sitting. There were some other shots of him, stills that came out, just him just looking so depressed.
What do we think that means?
What, that he was there or that he was looking depressed?
Either. Both.
Your guess is as good as mine, mate.
Because heavy rumours that we are just awaiting an official announcement, according to Matteo Moretto, for him to Fiorentina. So there was also some ITK saying he's left.
Yeah.
Now he's pictured at the ground. Is it maybe not as close as we think? Is it just a case of maybe there were some suggestions on the fan show that maybe that goes to show we're in talks with Palace about with over players. Is it just a case of he's still in the job, so he's going to keep doing the job until he doesn't?
I think it's more that than anything else.
But the whole thing is crazy, isn't it? If he does end, because it looks like he's going to leave. We don't know yet, but it looks like he's going to leave before the window.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a blow, isn't it?
Well, the window starts in like 2 days.
Yeah.
3 days.
I don't know if you can, you've cut out a bit of the picture, but some suggesting as well there's Ange on the left-hand side next to Fabio.
Ange?
Yeah. It cuts out a bit. You can zoom in.
All right, Ange is coming back, Sim.
Because it cuts out on the Wirecast. There you go. Is Ange there? Having secret talks with Fabio.
God.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's more of a case of he's just going to turn up for work until he's not working anymore.
I guess, yeah, makes sense. But then, I guess. But I'm saying, like, Matt Wells, like, didn't turn up for the last game. Then I think a few days later,
he was at the Forest game.
No, there was one game he wasn't at.
He left 2 days after the Forest game.
What was the game after Forest? Liverpool. He wasn't on the touchline.
Yeah, because he was already in America.
But I'm saying it wasn't announced yet.
Yeah, but it was like announced the next day.
Right, but I'm saying but my point is, if it was imminent, it was going to be announced. Like
we had those strong rumours for Matt Well. It wasn't even strong rumours. Everyone was saying he's gone. He's gone after the Forest game. We knew he was gone after the Forest game. It's not as far advanced with Paratici.
Well, we're hearing is we're just waiting the announcement.
Yeah, one journalist is saying that. You know, who knows? You know, could be true. It might not be true. What we were hearing about Matt Wells is like literally he's gone after the Forest game. It wasn't. It was like pretty much official.
Sounds pretty official to me, Fabio, but we'll see. Maybe it's not as close as we think.
Yeah. Bleacher Report saying Spurs have won the same number of Premier League games at other London stadiums as they have at their own this season. That is mad. That is mad.
Well, we won West Ham, Palace.
And that's it.
That's it.
How have we only won
our own stadium?
How have we only won 2 Premier League games at home all season?
It's crazy, isn't it?
And how are we top of the away table? How is
so
that
last season for the last 19 games, we also only won 2, isn't it? So we've won 2, and then so we've got 4 home games in the year.
Have we picked up more points away from home?
Must have
this season than we did the whole of last season.
I don't know about that. Maybe. I can check.
Because we were terrible away from home last season.
So on 17 points, I think, aren't we, away from home?
Yeah.
This season. Last season we picked up 17 points.
Wow. So we've picked up the same amount of points
already. Yeah,
that's crazy.
it's nuts. This last season we had 21 points at home, and this season we're on 8.
Well, someone says in the comments, Spurs are the away day kings. All we need to do is brush up on that home form, and we'll be bang up there for the European spots in the Premier League.
But the funny thing is, the underlying stats suggest we're not even that good away.
Well, that's not what the results suggest.
The underlying stats say Villa should be near the bottom of the league as well, so who knows?
Exactly. This one says he's truly the funniest guy ever. Richarlison, captain, MVP, 2 goals disallowed, 1 assist, 3 points. What a day.
She's got the captain's armband.
I think Richarlison might be one of the most shameless men in football.
For those wondering, Dancer was actually given man of the match, but Richarlison just loves stealing it and taking a picture with it. I don't know, it's just his thing now.
One of the most shameless men in football. I love it. Memorino says, is it offside? Did Richarlison score it? Yes. Did he do the pigeon? Yes. It means it's offside. If he only did 1 peck, is his shirt off? Yes. Offside, and the game's over.
That's literally how it works with Rishi. We should know it by now. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
StatMuse FC says Richarlison this season has got 7 goals and 3 assists. Only one of 7 players with 10 GAs in the league this season.
Not bad, is he?
Not bad. You got a halfway line goal in there as well.
All right, scissor kick.
Scissor kick as well. Do we actually have R9 then?
He's also scored against Arsenal, United, Liverpool, and PSG.
Yeah, man. Absolutely bad. And, you know, Bukayo Saka, the golden child of the Premier League, has only got 2 assists this season in the Premier League.
But every week I keep hearing how bad Rishi is.
Yeah. Well, he's doing very well this season in terms of goals and assists. But anyway, maybe it's not about goals and assists. It's about how he plays.
True. That's part of it.
Loading says, I don't want to hear any player quality used as an excuse again because we legitimately look second best to a team fielding Lerma at centre-back, Nathaniel Klein, Will Hughes and Justin Devaney. Yep.
It's hard to disagree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was going through it on the car on the way there, like man for man, Spurs against Crystal Palace, and I think...
This version of Palace, like what we played yesterday.
The one that they played yesterday. And I think we had I think 3, probably 2 or 3 Crystal Palace players in there, which was Wharton, Mateta, Dean Henderson potentially.
Well, you put Guehi ahead of...
Guehi, yeah, we had Guehi in there as well. We had 4.
Yeah, I think that probably makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is why I don't get the conversation about player quality when it will, like, for me, like, I understand it to an extent, but I think people just go overboard. They just excuse everything as if we have just a team of absolute crap. And I just don't buy it. Yeah. It's not what I'm seeing.
I agree with you.
I know, but people call in yesterday and they're just like going through our squad and just saying how bad and shit everyone is, and like, how can I expect Frank to do any more with what we have? And it's like,
well, what it is that they're made to look worse than they are.
Exactly.
That's
that would
the
be
problem.
my point. And then people bring up Pochettino, right? And people say about, look at Poch, but he had a great squad, and that's why. But when Poch took over, Walker was seen as a rubbish player. People didn't like him. Jan had just been off the back of a horrible season where everyone said he wanted out. Dembele, people were saying he was a bit of a flop. People weren't sure what he is, and he wasn't playing regular games. Like Danny Rose, people were saying he's an average left back. Like people weren't sure about him either. So like all these players we now consider to be incredible weren't when Poch took over.
And also, on top of that, he got really good levels out of players like Ben Taleb and Mason, and even for that time when Jan was injured, or I think Jan or Toby was injured, Kevin Wimmer came in and put in some unbelievable
even
displays
Tom
for
Carroll
us.
used to come in for
Tom Carroll as well. Like those players would get nowhere near our team right now.
Those players we knew weren't great, but he could get something out of them. Mm-hmm. Like that's what the manager's job is all about.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Obviously, to an extent, because there's only so much he can do. But to say that what I'm looking at is only the most he can do is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement there. Spurs Express saying Richarlison created 3 chances and won 9 total duels yesterday versus Crystal Palace. Brilliant shift from El Pombo.
Yeah, and I think yesterday was another example for me of when Rishi's looking physically on it, he's like a different player, and that's what gives him that edge. Like when he's off it, even like 5% physically, it seems to completely ruin his game. Yesterday he did look 100%.
Yeah, the problem is just like these performances, like many players that we have. You know, it's just so up and down. Like, he can score a goal on any given day, Richarlison, but a lot of the times this season, his performances have just been just so frustrating, haven't they?
I agree, but I also do think it's not a coincidence that since Mwani's come back regular fit, we have seen a better Richarlison. In a sense that I think he does well I think he does a bit better when they're both on together, and it's helped a bit more rotation as well. He's been able to take him out of the team a bit. So I think we've seen a better Richarlison, I think, since Mwani's come back.
Yeah. But, I mean, the question still remains if he is the guy. You know what I mean?
I don't think anyone thinks he's the guy, but my point would be everyone constantly bashes him. Every time I hear it on online or people call in, Sim, you think Richarlison's amazing? You think he's dirt shit? He's the worst thing.
I think only Danny says that.
There's a lot of people who say it. And I understand there's some things that Richarlison does that you think, how the hell is he a professional footballer? And I get that. I do completely get that. But I think the criticism for him is so over the top, as if he's like the worst thing. People think he's one of the worst strikers in the league. Like, he's not that bad.
Yeah, there's always a scapegoat, isn't there? And unfortunately, he is one of them this season. And on top of that, he's probably one of our... But how... Tell me how this makes sense. This season, it's Richarlison, right? And he's got our most goal contributions, 7 goals in the Premier League this season. Last year, everyone was saying the same about Brennan Johnson, and he was the one that got our most goals last season.
We just hate our goal scorers, I think. We just hate them. Look,
because our goal scorers are always being compared to Harry Kane and Son.
Yeah, that's the problem. They're comparing them to world-class players, and they're just not that. They serve a purpose in the squad, but they're not what we truly want. But it's not their fault. They're doing their job.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you'll only get them to a certain level. And I think Richarlison's probably... The performance yesterday was probably close to that level.
Yeah. I mean...
The best that you're going to get out of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Chef Sarpreem says, Spurs away fans won Tottenham the game today. They have sung their hearts out for 90 minutes. Let's have it right. Come on.
Absolutely. I think those were the biggest winners yesterday with the fans, for sure. They were brilliant.
Absolutely. 1882 Tottenham says, this happened every throw, by the way, despite the Tottenham bench complaining to the officials each time. But it's not only Tottenham. The PGMOL is too busy handing out extra bans to our players for walking off slightly slow after a red card, despite being the hundreds of similar cases. I mean... Did
you notice any foul throws yesterday?
I did not, to be honest.
I did.
Did you? How many were there?
I don't know how exactly, but it seemed to be happening a lot. Look at that. He's basically on the pitch frame. It's ridiculous.
That's mad.
It's ridiculous. How are they allowing that to happen time after time?
It's crazy.
It was quite frustrating. You could see, I don't know if you saw, but the coaches, staff were starting to get really frustrated.
Seb Stafford Bloor says, young players are not the problem at Tottenham. They've bought well for tomorrow. It's today that needs fixing, though, because those young careers need proper stability. Yeah, it's a fair point, to be honest.
But I also find it interesting when it comes to a lot of our players, when we talk about Frank, give him time, but we don't talk about our players in the same way. A lot of people.
Yeah, like which players are you talking about?
The younger players, Gray, Bergwall, Odegaard, Tell.
I think, I think everyone does say give them time, but they need to be afforded the time with someone ahead of them instead of them being first choice. You know what I mean? We still need the quality for today, like he's saying, as well as having these players that can be good in the future and still impact games now, but they shouldn't be our first choices. That's the whole thing.
That's fair.
Sean Walsh saying, I know this is quite literally unbelievable, but after not winning on the road in 2 months, Tottenham are top of the Premier League away table again. Yeah, it's mad. We've got the same record away from home as Arsenal this season.
Arsenal
and Aston Villa. And they're both in title races.
We've scored 5 more goals away from home than Arsenal. But they really only scored 11 goals.
Yeah, they they park the bus and go for a 1-0. Well, I guess so do we, but yeah, it is mad. It really is mad. We've conceded the same amount of Aston Villa on the road, but we've scored 2 more than them.
One of the lowest scorers. They're the lowest scorers I can see on that list.
Yeah.
Where are they? Let's see. Where are they on the list for goals? They are, not the lowest, like 10th.
Mid-table.
Yeah, mid-table. It's going to come back to bite them, I'm telling you.
Man, just brush up on that home form and we can get into the top. Who knows? I'm not even going to say a number. We can get into the top something.
If you look at the underlying metrics, what it suggests is our home form is not as bad as what our results are, but our away form is nowhere near as good as what the results are either. So maybe that's going to even itself out. That's what I would predict.
But we are like halfway through the season, so we've played half the teams away from home already this season, and we're sitting top. Because this is actually a big sample size in terms of results. We're doing fantastically well away from home.
I'm saying results-wise, yeah. But I'm saying what it suggests, what it will level out as, is the home form should stabilise in terms of it won't be this bad. We're going to start to win a few more games.
What metrics are you talking about?
The what's called the expected goals, the difference, what we are away from home, what we are at home, in terms of how many good chances we create and how many good chances we concede, and it's apparently a massive overperformance away from home, especially from goals conceded. We concede way more chances than we.
So in terms of the difference, where should we be in the away form table?
17th. And the home form we should be 17th, 16th, 15th. So not as bad as we are.
So Danny's right then. This XG nonsense is rubbish.
Why? Why is he right?
Because we're sitting top of the league.
It's called an outlier.
An outlier. How many outliers are there this season?
In general,
yeah,
not that many.
Well, Villa's one.
Villa's one, yeah. Where are Villa? Villa's one massive outlier.
Yeah.
Sunderland are an outlier because they're a lot higher than they should be. Apart from that, not too many.
Who else? So Brentford should be a bit higher. Or no, are they 8th in the league? Brentford?
They are 8th.
Oh, right.
Brentford are 3 points off Chelsea.
And we're 4.
And we're 4, yeah, but I'm saying it's mad. Brentford.
Yeah.
You know, this season from Brentford
is the highest ever, yeah.
The highest they've ever gotten at this point.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, you'd be on it.
Well, if that's what we're going by, you do one at Brentford, you deserve the job.
Squawker says Archie Gray is the youngest Englishman to score for Tottenham in the Premier League since Dele Alli. Wow. Both did it against Crystal Palace.
There you go.
Spurs making records at Selhurst Park. Love it. And here we are. The biggest overperformers of XG in the Premier League this season are Aston Villa, Tottenham and Manchester City. Not much in it between Tottenham and Aston Villa.
Yeah, but the difference is, for those two teams, is City, and I don't know about Villa, but definitely City, overperform from a point of they create a hell of a lot, but because of their quality, they still outscore their XG because they've still got Foden and Cherky scoring from outside the box, but they still create a hell of a lot of chances. Whereas we're creating barely anything, and we're basically turning water into wine, essentially. That's what the forward players are doing, essentially. That's what the stats say anyway. So that's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, how high is the percentage of goals that we've scored from set pieces this season?
I believe someone wrote in the chat yesterday it's 9 from 27.
Oh. Is that a high? That's not a high percentage, is it? In terms of high compared to other teams in the league?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I wouldn't say it is. Maybe it is.
I think the whole set piece thing has stabilised in terms of across the league. There was a period where it was crazy. Everyone was scoring every week. I still think it's high in terms of the overall average, but for the last, I would say, month, it hasn't been. I think it's stabilised.
In terms of that number, though, 5.35, you take Richarlison's goal out of that, that probably goes down by like 1.
5.3, no, a lot more than that, I would say.
Well, there you go. That's like just one goal of it.
Oh, his one goal, you mean?
Yeah.
I thought you meant him in general.
No, I'm saying that one goal is probably like the biggest disparity of overperforming an XG.
Yeah.
I mean, that XG must have been like 0.00. Like,
So, yeah,
there's no chance of scoring a goal from
about
there.
1%. Usually a shot from the halfway line is about 1%, yeah. 1 in 100.
You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to think of mad goals that we've scored that would have overperformed massively an XG. That's the only one.
When he scissor kicked it. That was probably one. That was good. Don't know off the top of my head. What games we had? I don't know. But from those stats, what the stats suggest is the player quality is better than if you create more, they'll score more. Essentially, that's what it suggests.
Yeah. Well, just start creating more then.
Oh, damn right.
Jake says, pretty good opportunity to build some momentum here. 100%. We have to build the momentum now. We've got some really winnable games.
Yeah, look, this fixture list. Obviously, we did it already up until the Bournemouth game. But there are some very good games. We've got West Ham at home, Burnley away. Obviously, we've got the 2 Champions League games in there as well, which were big games. FA Cup as well. It's a very big month. It's a really big month, isn't it?
We can put some proper points on the board here this month. Like some proper. I wouldn't be surprised if come the end of this month we're bang up there.
I would be surprised with the way we're playing, but you never know. Look, sometimes it just takes a result like that.
But look how the rest of these teams are playing. West Ham are losing every week. Bournemouth are losing every week. Burnley are losing every week.
Yeah, it's fair. It's absolutely right. Absolutely right. We could take advantage of that. Obviously Brentford and
Sunderland obviously have half their team out of the AFCON.
The funny thing is, we could, let's say, not win the next 2 and then win the next 3 and you're bang up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's so tight.
I can see us getting points against Sunderland and Brentford. The game that worries me the most in this is obviously Aston Villa in the FA Cup. I can't see us getting anything from that game. But in these Premier League games that are on your screen right now, I can see us getting quite a lot of points.
The only problem is I guess you probably say maybe it's a factor for everyone, but the amount of games, do we have the squad to cope with it? That's
well, it's not a factor for everyone because not everyone on that list is in Europe. Exactly, none of them are in Europe. And we've got 2 European games there.
That's the big issue.
But they come in the latter stages of the month, so it shouldn't really be a factor. Before then, and we've got 4 Premier League games before then.
What would be an acceptable points return for you?
As in the bottom barrel?
Just forget the cup games and the cup games, just the league games.
What do I predict,
there,
or
15,
what's acceptable?
There's 15 games. What's acceptable?
I
don't like that word though, because it implies if you don't make it, you want him sacked, and that's not true. So what do I
predict?
Yeah, what do you predict?
I'm going for a win at Brentford. A draw against Sunderland. I see us struggling to score against. I think that could be like 0-0 that game, Spurs Sunderland. I can see us beating Bournemouth away. We'll beat West Ham, and we'll beat Burnley.
Wow, unbeaten.
Yeah, I'm going for unbeaten in this run. Yeah,
unbeaten run.
What are you going for?
I do think we're going to lose one of the next 2. I'm not sure which one.
The one you think we'll lose is probably Bournemouth.
No, one of the next 2.
Oh, the next 2? Nah, I don't think so.
Brentford or Sunderland. I think we're going to lose one of those.
If we lose either of them, it'll probably be Brentford.
I've got a feeling now. I said we'll beat Brentford, but having watched us play and watch Brentford win, I've got a feeling they might get something out of it now.
Brentford are the 4th best home team in the league.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Although we do know how to play them. So that plays into our favour. And obviously that was one of our better performances, beating them. I'm going to go 3 points out of the next 2. I'm going to go draw against Bournemouth and then 2 wins. So 1, 2, so 8. 8 points. So I'm saying no wins in the next 3. That's a bit harsh, maybe. Maybe we'll win one of them.
I think we have to pick up significant points, and I think we will.
Although, if we get 8 points, that probably puts us in a decent position.
Yeah, if we get what I said,
And then
that puts us in a very good position going into February.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if we do that, but still are not playing well,
would you give up? Would you give up a top 8 finish for a better league position right now? A top 8 finish in the Champions League, I mean.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
What, for a better league?
No, for a better month in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Would you rather lose one of those games and win an extra Premier League
100%.
game than be top 8?
I would.
Then you got the extra games in Feb.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'd prefer to see us show some consistency in the league and actually look like we're going somewhere.
Or that FA Cup?
No.
No.
We that's the most important game this month.
That's the most important game. Would you lose 4 out of the 5 to win the FA Cup?
Oh, lose 4 out of the 5. Will that give us the opportunity to bin off the league and focus on the FA Cup?
Hell it will. Focus on the cups.
Let's just get to a place where we're safe, and then we can bin off the league and go for the FA Cup.
That's what we love to do.
No, but genuinely, that FA Cup game, if we can beat Villa, I would take like 2 losses out of that run to beat Villa.
Oh look, now is the time for Frank. Well, I say now's the time. January's not finished yet, and everyone's saying it's all gonna change after January.
Yeah, but regardless of players that we bring in January or whatever, we should be able to win the majority of those league games without signings.
Imagine we have a really good month, and then we add signings into that, the momentum.
Then we are cooking.
Then we're flying.
But Javi will be back for the Bournemouth away game.
Yeah, that's crucial. And maybe a doggy will be back.
And Romero should be back for Brentford. We haven't heard, he will be back for Brentford because his appeal is January the 2nd. So if he gets an extra ban, it'll be Sunderland.
Well, I think maybe this month could make or break us potentially.
It'll be harsh though to take Dancer out of the team after performance he put in though.
Got to do it.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Harry. He says, I love footballers act like NPCs in each other's comment section.
So everyone's clapping Gray for his goal. It's almost
Mikey Moore getting in there. Robbie Keane wants the job.
They feel, you know what they feel? They feel like, on FM when they do the social media. There's like those kind of comments, like FM characters.
Yeah. And here we go. This is Brennan at the darts yesterday.
Oh, yeah, here's the one. Made it safe and sound. He looks happy.
All the way from South London, from Croydon to North London in Alexandra Palace.
I see. I bet he was hoping he didn't get on, so he can just go straight. Didn't have to get changed or nothing. Didn't have to have a shower.
Talk THFC saying he's literally an NPC. Like what? What's an NPC?
Non-player character on a video game. Non-playable character. There's like one of those characters you go up and they're not playable, so like you go up to them, they'll just say the same thing, kind of thing. Okay. So he's like, when they do a shot of like a FIFA character.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. That's what the reaction was like. It was a bit like that, to be honest, if you watch it.
Frank the NPC. But yeah, that's it, people. That is all we have time for today. We will be going live on the ball, reacting to our predictions and making the new predictions for the coming game week in the Premier League. So if you stick around on this link, you'll be redirected if you want to come and join us on the ball to talk all things Premier League. But in terms of Tottenham, that is it from us today. Hopefully you guys come over and join the next hour with us on the ball. Is there something else you wanted to bring up?
Just some breaking news from Sky Sports. They're saying Dragusin, one of the players on Roma's list of possible defensive targets. Oh, if Tottenham indicate they're open to offers, other clubs will only show. I've always said Tottenham, Spurs indicate. Okay, it's not that interesting. But it seems there's a few people reporting Roma interested in Dragusin.
Okay.
So maybe there's some.
Be interesting to see how that one develops, obviously. Everyone's saying get Manu Kone in.
Yeah, come on.
But look, come and join us on the ball. The link will be with you if you just stick around here. But yeah, thank you for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, Spurs.